Hello and welcome to this lecture, and from this lecture onwards we will start building the add to cart functionality for our website. Now before even jumping into the code to create the add to cart functionality, I would like to explain you guys how exactly we are going to create the add to cart functionality. So as per the functionality, what should happen is that whenever you click on one of these buttons right here, that particular item should be added up into the cart. So according to this functionality, what should happen is that whenever you click on one of these buttons right here, that particular item should be actually added up into the cart. So how exactly can we do that? So in order to add that particular functionality, we first need to understand what's jQuery, and we also need to learn a little bit of JavaScript. So if you don't already know about jQuery and JavaScript, you don't need to worry at all. I will actually go ahead and teach you guys along the way. So now let's imagine this scenario that you click on this particular button right here. So what we expect is we expect this particular item added to the cart. Now this makes sense in the actual world, but if you think about how the computer works or how this website works, what we essentially want to do is that whenever we click this particular button, we actually want to get the ID of this particular item, because obviously only then we can know that we can add that particular item to the cart. So as a first step, just remember that whenever you click this button, you want to get the ID of this particular computer. Now the next step after getting that ID is that you need to store this ID into some kind of a variable, or you need to have some sort of storage in your browser itself which will actually hold the ID of this particular item, because obviously when you go ahead and select this item's ID need to be stored. Then when you go ahead and when you click on this particular laptop bag's add to cart button, we want to store the ID of this laptop bag as well. So we actually need a way to store elements onto your browser itself. So how exactly can we go ahead and do that? So we can do that by using something which is called as a local storage. So in your web browser, if you just right click over here and click on inspect, it will actually give you a developer console right here. So now if I go to console, here I can actually go ahead and I can write in a bunch of JavaScript code in here. So as you can see, we do have some JavaScript errors in here, and that's probably because we have multiple bootstrap JavaScript CDNs in there. So we will actually ignore this for now. And now let's go ahead and learn about how we can store the item ID over here in the browser using something which is called as a local storage. So whenever you want to access local storage, you simply go ahead and type in local storage in here. So when I go ahead, type that thing in, and when I hit enter, as you can see, it says that the length of the local storage is 0 and it has absolutely no items in the local storage. So let me actually zoom in a little bit so that you'll be able to see in a much more better way. So as you can see, currently the local storage is empty, and now let's go ahead and try to create a cart in this particular local storage which can hold our items. So in order to do that, I can simply type in local storage, and we will use a method which is called as set item. So I can type in local storage dot set item, and then I can set any item in this particular local storage. So as you can see, when I hover over this thing, this says that the item which we will store here are stored as a key value pair. So I hope you already know what a key value pair actually is. So key is nothing but the name of the value, and the value is the actual value stored at that particular position. So if I say the key is going to be cart, and then I can give comma, and I can save any kind of value in here. So I can say 1 over here. And now once I go ahead and hit enter, we get undefined over here. But after executing this line of code, now in the local storage, the value of cart is stored as 1. So if you want to check what value do we have stored in the local storage, I can simply type in local storage in here, and I can use a method which is called as getItem. So I can type in local storage dot getItem, and then I can simply pass in the name over here or the key over here. So the key here is cart. So as to get the key's value, we type in the key's name here, and when I go ahead hit enter, I get the value as 1. So let's say we again want to save some item in there. So I can type in local storage dot set item, and then I can say something like name, and I can set the name value to any value which I want. So let's say I want to save my name here. I'll type in my name here, and when I hit enter, the value is going to be stored. So I can retrieve this value by using local storage dot getItem, and now instead of cart, if I type in name in here, I'll get my name. So it's that easy to store something into the local storage. So now that we know how local storage works, we now want to go ahead and save our items ID into this particular local storage, which is the cart. So now if I type in local storage, as you can see, I get these values stored in there. So it says we have 2 items in our local storage. One is the cart and the second one is the name, and we have a specific value for cart and we have specific value for name over here as well. So in this manner you can save any number of key value pairs inside this local storage. So now in order to clear up the local storage, I can simply type in local storage dot clear, and when I do that thing, the local storage would be cleared. So now if I try to type in local storage, as you can see, there's absolutely nothing inside this local storage. So now once we know what local storage actually is, in the upcoming lecture we will go ahead and we will write in some JavaScript code in our index.html page, which is this page right here, so that whenever we click this particular button, our code should automatically get the ID of that particular item, and it should store that ID over here into the local storage. So we are going to learn how to do that in the next lecture. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.